Have you ever wondered how an ordinary day can turn into something extraordinary? For Anna, a dedicated waitress who worked at a low-key restaurant in the city center, that morning seemed like just another morning. Between hurried orders and the sound of cutlery, their routine unfolded as usual. But what if fate had other plans for her? What can happen when two of the most powerful figures in the world come into your life by chance? Anna noticed the two men sitting discreetly at a table in the corner. Their faces weren't strange, but she needed a second look to believe it. Luciano Hang and Elon Musk, giants in their worlds, were there, sharing stories and laughter. Why would they choose this restaurant? Do they realize the impact they have on people's lives? She asked herself as she took a deep breath, trying to hide her nervousness. The approach was timid, almost hesitant. His trembling voice, when taking the order, conveyed the mixture of fear and admiration he felt. Is my simplicity enough to serve them? Will they notice the lack of luxury here? But surprisingly, their behavior was gentle, as if they were just two ordinary men enjoying a moment of tranquility. As the meal progressed, Anna felt something change within her. His hands, which were shaking before, were now steady. His gestures became more confident. What if this moment is a gift, an opportunity to see that we are all equal in the face of something greater? She reflected. Every interaction was marked by genuine smiles and a respect she never expected. When it came time to hand over the bill, Anna could hardly imagine what was to come. Did they leave anything other than empty plates? As he opened the small piece of paper, his eyes filled with tears. It wasn't just the exorbitant amount of the tip that left her speechless, but the written message, "We believe in you. Keep shining." For a moment, time seemed to stop. Anna felt her heart tighten. Why would someone so powerful believe me? Did they see something that not even I see myself? Emotion took over. The waitress, who until then believed she was destined for a life of anonymity, felt a spark of hope reborn. Looking back, the two were already leaving, but they left Anna something much bigger than money. They left an example of how small gestures can transform lives. She understood that the encounter was not just about her serving two important men, but about how acts of kindness have the power to change perspectives. Have you ever stopped to think how often we underestimate the impact we have on other people's lives? Sometimes all someone needs is a gesture of empathy to find strength in the midst of difficulties. For Anna, that note wasn't just a tip. It was a reminder that dreams can come true even when they seem far away. And is today the day that a small act of generosity can change someone's world? Have you ever had a moment when life suddenly hands you something that seems impossible? Something that, for a moment, makes you question everything you believe about yourself and the world? That's exactly what happened to Anna. When she received the bill for the table she served that afternoon, her life changed forever. It was a table like any other, at least it seemed to be. But Anna knew it wasn't just another service. Luciano Hang and Elon Musk, two names that symbolize power and fortune, had been under his care. She did the best she could, even with the nervousness pulsing through her veins. Did they notice my insecurity? Was I enough? She asked herself as she collected the empty plates. When they delivered the bill, Anna didn't expect anything more than usual. A wave of thanks, a discreet smile perhaps. But when she opened the small folded paper that was next to the payment, her eyes came across something she would never forget. Why? Why did this happen to me? There, in front of her, was not just the amount of the bill, which was already impressive. It was such a generous tip that it left her breathless. But it wasn't the money that made her tremble. It was the written message, carefully lined up in the margin. "We believe in you. Your work is important. Never give up." Anna felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. How could anyone see in her something that she herself had never seen? For years, Anna struggled to maintain a precarious balance between work, late bills, and caring for her young daughter. Many nights she lay exhausted, wondering if all the effort was worth it. Will I ever achieve something more? Am I worthy of hope? With tears streaming down her face, Anna remembered moments she had tried to bury. The days when she almost gave up, the nights when loneliness seemed unbearable, the dreams she kept silently EO for fear of seeming naive. But there at that moment, something changed. The message from those two men, who could have been just two more hurried customers, was a powerful reminder. You are seen, you matter. As she held that piece of paper, Anna thought about her daughter, who often asked why her mother worked so much. Will she understand now? Will she see that every fight has a purpose? The gesture of two strangers became a beacon of hope, illuminating a path that for so long seemed shrouded in darkness. Anna realized that the bill wasn't just a piece of paper with numbers. It was a symbol of something greater, of the generosity that can arise even in the most unexpected circumstances. It was proof that even in the most difficult struggles, there are people willing to lend a helping hand. And you, how many times have you walked through someone's life without realizing the impact you could have? Could today be the day that a small act of kindness can change everything? Maybe it's time to remember that, for someone, you can be the difference between giving up and continuing to fight. When leaving the restaurant that night, Anna didn't just carry the tip. She took away something much more valuable, a new belief in herself and in the beauty of humanity. Have you ever wondered how a single gesture can change everything? How can something as simple as a piece of paper carry such profound meaning that it transforms the course of an entire life? For Anna, a waitress facing the silent battles of everyday life, the answer came in the form of an unexpected act of generosity. But was she ready to understand the impact of this moment? After assisting Luciano Hang and Elon Musk, Anna was preparing to end another exhausting shift. Her body is tired, and her mind is full of worries about the late bills and her young daughter's future. Am I failing her? Is all this effort enough? She thought, as she organized the cutlery and cleaned the tables. When he opened the envelope containing the bill payment, his eyes came across an amount that looked like an error. That can't be right. Why would anyone do that to me? The tip was so extraordinary that for a moment she thought she was dreaming. Anna's mind filled with questions. Why did these men, who could have gone unnoticed in their routine, decide to act with such generosity? As tears began to roll down her face, she held that envelope as if it was something sacred. But it wasn't just the money that moved her. It was the meaning behind it. For Anna, that gesture was much more than a reward for her work. It was a sign that someone saw value in your effort. Do they realize the difference this makes in my life? Do I deserve it? She asked herself, torn between gratitude and disbelief. Anna remembered the times she almost gave up. The days when he had to choose between paying the rent or buying his daughter's school supplies. The nights he cried in silence, wondering if his life would ever change. And now, there in front of that gesture, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. The evident generosity was not just a material gift. It was an opportunity to look at his life from a new perspective. What if this is the beginning of something bigger? What if, somehow, I can give that back to the world? For the first time, Anna allowed herself to dream, not only with a better future for herself, but with the possibility of being a source of inspiration and help for others. As she held the envelope, Anna realized that the tip wasn't just about money. It was about believing in the good that still exists in the world. It was about remembering that even in our most difficult times, there are people willing to reach out. And above all, it was about understanding that small gestures have the power to create waves of transformation. Have you ever stopped to think about the impact your actions can have on someone's life? How many times do we pass up the chance to be a light in someone else's darkness? Perhaps the true power of generosity lies not in what we give, but in what we awaken in others. For Anna, that moment changed everything. She didn't know what the future held, but now she had something that couldn't be bought or measured. The certainty that even in the darkest days, there is always a reason to keep believing. And perhaps that was all she needed to transform her own story. Have you ever found yourself in a moment so unexpected and powerful that it made all the emotions stored inside you come to the surface? For Anna, that waitress with the shy smile and tired eyes, life seemed like a sea of endless challenges. But that day, everything changed. And it was for something that for many could just be a simple tip. But was that all? When your eyes met the value in the role, Anna felt as if the world around her had stopped. Is this real? Why is this happening to me? His hands began to shake and a lump formed in his throat. For years, Anna had gotten used to living on the edge, struggling to balance the bills, take care of her daughter, and still find the strength to smile at customers. In that instant, the full weight of these battles seemed to finally be recognized. The crying began silently, as if she was trying to hold back the flood of emotions. But it was impossible. Tears ran down her face, bringing to the surface years of frustrations, doubts, sleepless nights, but also of love, sacrifice, and hope. "Does anyone understand everything I've been through to get here?" she asked herself as emotion took over. Each tear carried a story. The time she had to work extra hard to buy her daughter's school uniform. The day she almost gave up her job because the dismissive looks from some customers made her feel invisible. And those nights when, after everything, she still sat next to her daughter to help with her homework, even though she was exhausted. Did they know how much this gesture meant? Did they know they were changing a life? But the crying wasn't just from sadness or tiredness. It was above all a cry of relief, as if, for the first time in a long time, someone was telling Anna, "You're not alone. You matter." The message written on the paper, along with the money, was a reminder that their daily struggle did not go unnoticed. Someone, somewhere, believed her, and maybe that was all she needed to start believing in herself. Anna's tears did not go unnoticed by colleagues and customers around her. Some looked with curiosity, others with empathy. But at that moment, none of that mattered. It was a moment just for her, an instant in which she allowed herself to feel everything she had kept for so long. How many times do we suppress our emotions, pretend to be strong, when all we need is a moment to allow ourselves to feel? While wiping her face, Anna looked at the paper in her hands again. What if this is a sign? What if this is the time to turn the page and start dreaming again? For the first time in years, she felt like something inside her had changed. It wasn't just the amount of the tip that made her cry. That's what he represented. It was proof that even in the most silent struggles, there are people who see, there are those who care. And you? How many times have you ignored someone's pain without realizing how much a small gesture could mean? Are we so busy with our own battles that we forget to look around? Perhaps the greatest gift we can give another is not something material, but the simple message that they are seen, that they are not alone. For Anna, that moment was a turning point. She knew that challenges didn't go away with a tip. But she also knew that something bigger had happened here, something that no amount of money could buy. The certainty that amid the rush and difficulties of life, there are still acts of kindness capable of restoring faith in the world and in ourselves. Have you ever stopped to think about how a single gesture can transcend barriers and touch someone's soul? In a world where success is often measured by numbers and material achievements, what does it mean to truly be human? For Anna, a waitress who silently carried the marks of a life full of struggles, the answer came in an act of generosity that transformed everything. Luciano Hang and Elon Musk weren't just two customers at his table that afternoon. They were symbols of power, wealth, and influence. But for Anna, until then, they were just two more faces in a crowd of daily commitments. Do they know what it's like to be in my shoes? Do they see beyond the bill they're paying? These questions echoed in her mind as she served them, with the care and dedication she reserved for all customers. The memorable moment happened when Anna opened the envelope they left. What she found wasn't just money, it was a meaningful gesture. The generous tip, accompanied by a simple but deeply moving message, read, "Never give up. Your work is important." It was as if, suddenly, the weight of the difficulties she carried had found a new perspective. Why would they do that? Do they know how much it changes my life? The impact was immediate. Anna's cry, full of emotion, infected everyone around her. Clients and colleagues who witnessed the moment remained silent, as if they respected the grandeur of that act. Is there still room for genuine kindness? Can gestures like these really change the world, one heart at a time? For Anna, the answer was clear. It was not the value itself, but what it represented, a validation of their struggle, their dignity, and their importance. That gesture humanized not only Anna, but also the business people who made it. In a world where they are often seen as unreachable, Luciano and Elon showed that behind all the greatness, there were people capable of seeing and connecting with the essence of others. Have we forgotten that regardless of status, we all share the same humanity? But the true impact of that moment wasn't just on Anna. When leaving the restaurant, she carried something much bigger than the envelope in her hands. She was certain that her every little effort was worth it, that there was beauty in the simplicity of serving and love in the resilience of fighting. What if each of us could do the same? What if one small gesture could create ripples of transformation? For those who saw the scene, the act of generosity was a powerful reminder that we all have the power to make a difference. It's not the greatness of the gesture that matters, but the intention behind it. Anna, who entered that ordinary day with doubts about her worth, left with something that no money could buy, the faith that, even in the most silent struggles, we are seen, loved, and supported. And you? When was the last time you made someone feel like they mattered? Isn't the power to change lives in our hands simply by showing that we care? Maybe the world doesn't need great heroes or extraordinary deeds, but small acts of kindness which, like that gesture, can become the spark of something bigger. Anna's life would no longer be the same, and who knows, the impact of that act would not stop there. After all, like a stone thrown into water, the waves of generosity can reach places we never imagined. And maybe, just maybe, the world will change with a simple, "I believe in you." Anna left the restaurant with her eyes shining and her heart renewed. Luciano Hang and Elon Musk's unexpected generosity not only changed their financial situation, but rekindled their hope. The gesture showed that, even in the most difficult times, there is kindness and empathy in the world. She promised to carry that lesson forward, turning her gratitude into strength to inspire others. Sometimes small acts create big changes, and Anna was now living proof of that.